on this Wednesday night, January 3rd, 2024. I almost said 2023. 2024. We're just starting out 2024. And it is 8:45 p.m. I'm just trying to fix the stand here for my phone. It's jacked. It's taped together. The tape's coming off. Anyway, it is what it is. I had a long day. I drove down to the Twin Cities today, St. Paul, Minneapolis area. And it's been a long day. So anyway, I'm tired and I'm just going to we're going to recap. Actually, what we're going to do is last night I read, as you can see, about 34 minutes. What would that be? About a little more than half of part 1 of Jesus in the Essenes by Dolores Cannon. She wrote a book called Jesus in the Essenes about somebody who did for a very, very long time, decades and decades, she did what was called quantum healing hypnosis. Well, this is what she did. Quantum healing hypnosis therapy or something like that. Where she, people, all kinds of stuff. She does all kinds of healing. And a lot of the healing is going into past lives. So she puts people under hypnosis and they go into their past lives to figure out some problems or whatever. But anyway, so she wrote a book on this, and it's very interesting because one of the women that went back back at life after life after life after life until she got to the beginning of the 1st century when her life was as an Essene, who she claims under hypnosis that she had no knowledge of any of this stuff. She was a younger girl that was, I don't know. Anyway, so under hypnosis, she gave up a lot of information about the first followers of Jesus, and Jesus was an Essene, and that's what I always thought he was, one of the Essenes. And the Essenes were located, I don't think it would be west of Jerusalem. Anyway, over by the Dead Sea, kind of near the top where the Qumran caves were. And anyway, a lot of things kind of resonate, and a lot of things were very interesting. So whether you believe it or not, it is interesting to listen to. She talks about her book. She does have the book out a long time ago. And she did pass away a while back in 2014. So she is got a lot of work out there, lots of stuff behind her, and her daughter also is carrying on her legacy. She's helped millions of people around the world. She's been to every country. I mean, always flying off somewhere, and people around the world loved her. So, anyway, she's helped a lot of people. So anyway, so this is part 1 and 2, and last night I actually read her transcript here. Here's the most replayed. But I read her transcript all the way up to here, and I don't think I'm going to do that tonight because there was 2 parts to this, and each one's an hour. And if I take 2 hours for each part, I still have 3 hours to go on this. So what I'm going to do tonight is recap this. Like I said, it's been a long day. I drove a long ways, and I finally got home. I even stopped at the store to get some dog treats, and I got home, and I didn't know I was out of dog food. I'm cooking their food for dinner, and they needed kibble, and it's a special kind, so we have to go to a certain store. So I had to get back in the truck and then go in the dark, and we drove all the way back to town, and with the dogs and got their dog food. So anyway, I'm just kind of getting back settled. Been a long day in the truck, and lots of miles. So anyway, my cat's coming back. He looks like he wants to come in. But what I'm going to do tonight, I'm going to do everybody a favor. Instead of reading another hour of this and then 2 more hours of part 2, down here down here. I mean, there's a transcript over there. Anyway, where is it? I think I have to. Although, I mean, I would want to read it sometime, but anyway, just not tonight. So I think what I'm going to do is a shortcut. I need to collapse this thing back down. I don't know how to do. Oh, here it is. All right, so I'm going to recap, and not even recap. I'm going to summarize by using her key moments notes down here. And I don't know if this is generated by YouTube or how this comes up. All right, I moved him over here. Well, hey, good to see you tonight. Whoever just came in, gave me a thumbs up. Let me just see if I can. I forgot to even open up my chat, so give me just a second. I forgot about that. Whoops. Anyway, like I said, I'm just getting settled in from being gone all day long. But the dogs are fed, they're happy, they got their special food. I don't like buying them that. I just don't think any dog should have that kibble that has only corn in it and byproducts or something. Ugh. I've learned better, so yep, I'm not eating that anymore. I get the one where the first ingredient is meat. Same with cat food. Costs a little more, but it'll probably save on vet bills and their health, you know what I mean? No, Caleb. No. Let me pull. Hold on a second, he just got me here. It's enough, Caleb. Trying to pull this up, hold on. Just almost knocked this out of my arm. Did you just hear me? You just almost knocked that out of my arm. The camera, phone, whatever it is. Alright. So, well, hi, Dee. How you doing tonight? There is Dee. She comes in. How was your day? How was your Wednesday? You know what? I just realized now that it was Wednesday. And if I knew it was Wednesday, I would have stopped at this grocery store in town, and because it's discount day. Senior discount. Now I'd take advantage of my senior discount. Because I have to go to their meat market and buy some meat. It's good to get that discount, you know. Hold on a second. I got to tape this thing up because it's falling in pieces here. I think, you know what? I made it this far. I'm this old. Give me my discount. I earned it at this point. Hold on a second. Sorry, I moved my scissors. I can find it. But anyway, I was thinking it was Tuesday. Well, hey, Galax, Nano. How you doing tonight? You know, my, that was Robin Williams for, Robin Williams played in, Mork and Mindy. So he's referencing Mork and Mindy, and he'd say Nanu, and he would give the that hand symbol that he put up there. And you know what? Kind of odd, because Robin Williams supposedly took his life, and the last picture he was seen was here in Minnesota, not too far from where I'm at. It's actually he was at a Dairy Queen. He stopped at a Dairy Queen in Somerset, Wisconsin, which is not too far from here. In fact, I've been there. That's where the Apple River is. That's where, in fact, I have the Apple River sign in my garage right now. It's a tubing park, and everybody from Minnesota, Wisconsin knows Apple River, and that's everybody from Apple River knows the famous Dairy Queen, because the bus got you on, the bus got you off at Dairy Queen. So they're racking in business. But that famous Dairy Queen down by the Apple River, that's where Robin Williams' last picture was taken, at that Dairy Queen. His last known picture before he took his life. But and you know what the weird thing? He died. And I don't even want to say die anymore. I want to say crossed over. He crossed over. And the same day my mom did. And you know what? It was the same. It was like within 2 days, it was like Joan Rivers, Robin Williams, and my mom. But anyway. Yeah, he was last seen in Minnesota here at the famous Dairy Queen. Everybody around here knows that Dairy Queen if you're from Minnesota or Wisconsin. No, we're not playing that game. They want to all of a sudden go out. I'm trying to do something here. Can you tell? Getting ready to go. What I'm going to do. Anyway, how was your day, Galax? And Dee looks like she had a good day. Your day was good. Awesome. Hope that fire alarm quit going off. Yeah, I had a good day. So get this. So I drove down. You know what? I've been really studying these videos, and I've been studying the work of all these people, really. But I really like Dolores Cannon's work. I like all this kind of work, all this kind of studies, and you know how you're really supposed to, that inner voice. You know what I mean? Sometimes you listen to it, and sometimes you don't. And I'm trying to be more in tune to that, you know what I mean? All right, I'm going to have to let these dogs out. And as soon as I stand up, they're going to just go crazy. So give me 2 seconds to let these dog outs. I mean, I could stand up right now and you can hear what a ruckus this is going to be. But I'd rather spare you, so give me a second. I'm going to let them out. All right, sorry about that. Hey, Grace, welcome in, Shalom. I hope you had a wonderful Wednesday. But yep, I've learned how to be in tune with my dogs. We got to work on this barking when they go out. But they're being nicer to each other. They've learned how to kiss, give kisses to each other instead of biting. So anyway, this using your mind and really, because that's what God wanted us to do. He gave us this information, and a lot of this was hidden. And there was stuff in the Qumran caves, those Dead Sea Scrolls. And those were probably put in there around the fall of Jerusalem and, you know, the lifetime of Jesus. And anyway, there was hidden knowledge back then that was hidden, and they want to keep it hidden. And every time it surfaces, they attack the knowledge. And you know why? Because they use the knowledge to advance themselves up to the top. And they hide the knowledge from us. And the word occult, O-C-C-U-L-T, occult means hidden. Hidden knowledge. It's hidden knowledge, and they've been hiding the knowledge. And so every time it surfaces, like the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Qumran caves, or whatever, they stuff it, they hide it, because they don't want it out. They want you sick. They want you feeling bad. They don't want you knowing that you can heal yourself, that you can be in tune with God. They wanted to hand you that Bible where you spin in circles like a boat with the broken steering wheel, and just spin in circles and never, you know, it's hit and miss all the time. And while in the meantime, they're advancing themselves sky high with all this knowledge. And it does come out. And anyway, so I've been trying to listen to I've been doing a lot of work and studying on this stuff, and I know there's been times like the time I almost left with my truck and trailer hooked up to go do a job, and a voice inside my head was saying, screaming, saying, check the back tires, check the trailer tires. And I'm thinking, I already checked the tires because I hooked up the night before and I checked the tires. And anyway, this voice was screaming, check the tires. And I even argued with the voice, thinking, all right, fine, I'll check the tires. I got out of the truck and I went back, and I kid you not, my trailer tire, the axle had, the bearings had come off and wore out, whatever. And it was off, and it was bad, you guys. In fact, that's the last time the trailer, I unhooked it, went and rented the trailer, did the job, came back, and I could not believe my whole axle was about to come off. And I went and parked that back by the pond, and it's been a deck. I've used it for a deck. But anyway, I that voice was so loud, and I always try to, we've all had that voice, like, don't go in there. You hear people that got away from the kidnapper, and they say something like, something was telling me, don't get in the car. Anyway, that's the inner you, yourself, and it's a helper. You've got an angel with you. And what I've found out is that everybody's assigned an angel at birth. And the angel cannot interfere unless you ask. And you have to ask specifically certain things. You have to ask. It's the only time they can interfere is if you ask. Otherwise, they can, what I mean? But anyway, so I've looked back and thought, yeah, anyway. And so today, I was driving down to the cities, and it's about an hour and 15 minutes from here to there. But I had to stop and get tabs. Because my truck tabs expired 2 days ago, so I wanted to get my truck tabs. And then but I already noticed, anyway, I got back on the freeway and headed south. And I drove all the way down to St. Paul, Minnesota. So that was about an hour drive. And in the hour drive, I noticed, because we didn't even have snow a few days ago. I had grass up Grace can back me up on this. We had no snow. Up until a few days ago, we got a little bit where you can still see the grass. It's skimpy. But we just got a fresh covering like the last 2 days or something. So I'm driving down the cities, and I've noticed that all these like skid marks, because it just got slippery recently. So anyway, I noticed all these, I always notice the tracks that go off the road. I don't know if people fall asleep or whatever, accident. You can always see the tracks going off the road just straight off the road. And then you can, right after that, you'll see where they pulled the wreck out, and it's just a mess. There's like dirt all over and grass and drag marks and maybe a bumper or something. It's just always a mess where they drag it out, you know what I mean? And today I was driving down there, I was thinking, man, there's another one. They go in nice and smooth, and when they drag it out, it's just a mess. There's just mud and just dirt. Everything is just bad. So anyways, I always look for when I see that, I always see the mess that it comes out at. Anyways, a few of those going down. And on the way back, it was kind of rush hour. And somebody was going to meet me here at 4:00. And so I had to get home, and I was already going to be like 5 minutes late. So I was kind of just headed home, and I noticed that there was tracks that went off the road, fresh tracks went off the road, and I looked, and it was right before a guardrail, and the fresh tracks went off the road down like a cliff or like a huge embankment, so you couldn't even see below it. And I thought, dang! And I looked for the wreck where they pulled it out, and there was none. And a voice was telling me, they're still down there. They're still down there. Because I didn't see where they pulled, like the debris where they pulled it out. And I always look for that. And today I was just really looking for it. And I noticed the tracks went in. And I thought, you know what? If they did go off, nobody would see them. Nobody would even know they're down there. Because you can't see. It's straight down. And anyway, it was nagging me. And I got all the way home. And I was screaming, call the highway patrol. You know what I mean? So I did. I looked up the highway patrol. And I got a hold of highway patrol. And they're going to go out and look. As I said, there's tracks going in. Fresh tracks through the snow. Off the embankment. And there's no marks where they pulled it back out. So I think somebody should go make sure there's not somebody down there that needing help. But anyway, that was like screaming at me, call the highway patrol. Anyway, so I did, and I hope everybody's okay there. So anyway, I've learned to listen to them voices when they're just yelling in your head. You know what I mean? Like, do this, do this. Anyway, so I don't know. Hopefully they went out there. It was just getting dark when I got home too. So, why does it say subscribe on my own thing here? That is weird. Anyway, my dogs are kind of going crazy out there, more than normal. Anyway, might be some wild animals they're looking at or something. Alright, so what I'm going to do tonight, because I am tired. I just got home not that long ago. It's gone all day. And I decided if you're gone when I first came in. There you go. If you're gone at the beginning, tonight, if you're just coming in, I should say, last night I really basically read about half of this 1 hour transcript over here. I read the transcript for this about halfway, so it would take 2 hours to get through one, and there is a 2-part to this, and there's a transcript right down there. And what I think I'm going to do, because it would be 3 more hours to get through part 1 and 2. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the key moments on here, because there's 2 parts to this. And so I think what I'm going to do is, and it's going to like, it'll be like a summary of her presentation here, because I did watch the whole 2 hours. In fact, I think at least one of them I listened to twice. But anyway, I did listen to all. But anyway, I'm going to go over the key moments here, because then you can, we're here. I think I forgot to put the link up yesterday. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I can't remember. Paste. All right, so here is part 1 of the Essenes. Always good to listen to your inner voice like that. I called non-emergency line once when door-to-door sales guys came. Ended up they were wanted in another state for entering homes and for murder. Yeah, that's your gut telling you. That's your gut telling you. And I cannot assume that somebody else is going to call. I mean, I can't assume that somebody else is even going to, just like you can't assume somebody else is going to call. In fact, I just saw a video, you guys. I just saw a video of this RV. It turns out that it was an RV coming down through the mountains, and his brakes were out. And he's, zigzagging through traffic, and he's purposely running over these road cones and stuff, trying to slow himself down. But these girls were, all these must be teenage girls, with packed full of girls. His car was all videotaping him, or one of them was videotaping the guy, and said, "Oh my God, he must be drunk. Oh my God." And then other girls were saying, "We should call the police." And then the other girls were saying, "No, I'm sure other people are calling the police." And they just saying, "Oh my God, oh my God, look at him." And anyway, it was funny because in the comment section, people said, "I'd rather be in that runaway RV instead of in that car with them girls." But anyway, I found out yesterday's video minutes after you finished. Never heard it. Last night's video? Yeah, I think I posted it. Yeah, and that was half of Dolores's part 1. And if I keep up at that pace, it'll be 3 more days. It'll be the weekend before I get done with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to summarize this. I think it's fascinating, you guys, because you can see that they took stuff out of the Bible and twisted it and gave us the garbage, and they're using the good stuff. And you know what? You know what? Another time it came up, all this hidden knowledge came up in the when was it, Grace? When they're burning people at the stake because they had this hidden knowledge. So they would, like, I don't know, throw you. I don't know. What would they do? Try to drown you, and if you drowned, you weren't a witch, and if you didn't drown, you were. I don't know, but they were burning people at the stake for this knowledge. So people had to go underground with the knowledge. It was hidden. That's why it's called the occult. It was hidden knowledge. They had to hide it. It's not that it was from the devil. Occult means hidden. When I worked in a doctor's office, we had to do these stool sample tests to see if people had blood in their stool. So we'd give them this little cardboard thing to take home in a wooden paddle. And then they'd bring it back, and it was our job to open up the back of it and put these drops on it, and it would show, it was called the occult blood test, OCCULT, occult blood test. And I always thought, that's weird. It's bad enough we're having to do this. But then they called it for the occult. What's going on here? But occult just means hidden blood. Personally, I can see the witch trials coming back soon. Yeah. You know what? Get this. Guess what I just found out? So when Obama was president, I can't remember. I think it was when Obama was president. Do you know what he signed? And you know what he did? Yeah, the fact that they're afraid of magic is proof that works. And how come the magic's fine when they're all doing it? Like in the Bible, the miracles and all this. But when we do it, it's from the devil. But you know what? I gotta let my dogs in. I gotta tell you what I found out yesterday. So Obama, when he was in president, he took two things off the top of the terrorist list. Okay, so there was, like, I don't know, a certain amount of things. They have a list of things the American government sees as a terrorist. And they took the two top off. One was Hamas, and one was something else. I can't remember. But they took the two top things off, Hamas and something else. And in its place, guess what they put? Sovereign citizen. So if you claim to be a sovereign citizen, you are a terrorist. And guess what this other one was? Evangelical Christians. If you are an evangelical Christian, if that's what you claim, you are considered a terrorist. Yeah, that's what you got replaced with the Hamas. You got replaced. Anyway, look it up, folks. It is truth. So if you're at, like, street preaching and stuff with a sign, you're probably going to be on a list. You know what I'm saying? You probably already are. The evangelicals, the ones that go out there with street preaching and stuff. You know, the evangelicals, the ones like the pushy ones, right? Anyway, now they just left. They were at the door, now they left. They saw something. I don't know. Anyway, so we're gonna recap. Yeah. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through Dolores's part 1 and part 2. We're just gonna go through the key moments of her 1 hour thing here, and then we'll go through the key moments of part 2. Oh, they were chasing a car that went down the road. All right. So it starts out, and like if you just got here, it starts out with the first half of this. The first half of this is, I read the first half last night, but you can listen to it. She's got a very pleasant, nice voice, so you can listen to her rather than me. Like I said, it'll take 3 more hours if I have to go through the rest of part 1 and then part 2, so we're just going to kind of summarize it because it's a lot of great stuff in here. So anyway, first she goes over the Dead Sea Scrolls, and she has pretty much She's done this since the 70s, so she's pretty much talked to everybody, read every book there was on Dead Sea Scrolls. She knows all about it. But anyway, so she does this healing. She originally started out with this healing, quantum healing hypnosis therapy, or quantum healing hypnosis, something. Anyway, so and part of the healing is sometimes and you guys, if everybody knew this healing, guess what? Pharmacies would go out of business, hospitals go out of business, doctors' offices go out of business. They'd all go out of business. Psychiatrists go out of business. Therapies go out of business. Treatment centers go out of business. You know how much money these people make running the world off of everybody being sick and not knowing how to heal yourself? Anyway, that's why it's dangerous, and that's why they always want to kill people who try to put it out there. Like during the witch trials and stuff, that's what these people are trying to give you, this knowledge that God himself is trying to give us. And people had it during the time of Atlantis. During the time of Atlantis, they had this knowledge, but they just got crazy with it. And they weren't like wiped out overnight. They were just gradually fizzled out. And then it was wiped out. All right, anyway. So the Dead Sea Scrolls, she starts out with that. And how they're just hiding this stuff, you guys. You notice anytime anybody finds anybody, the government shows up, the men in black, and then they want it, or else. Anyway, and then we'll never see it again. But they'll tell you, I don't know, 75 years from now, maybe what it could have said. Anyway, so she starts out with Dead Sea Scrolls, talking about that. Then the Star of Bethlehem, which was really interesting to me, because I always knew that there were astrologers. The Magi were astrologers. Anyway, she goes into how there was not one, not two, not three, but 4 stars that started with each Magi, magician, astrologer, and they all came together, all 4 of them. Anyway, the Magi were astrologers, which I always knew that. And there was a 4th wise man. And then the Aquarium Gospel. Now, I don't even remember what that was about. Oh, Aquarian. Okay, never mind. Anyway, and then you can see the timestamps on here, 30, 32. So any particular part in here that interests you, there's timestamps here. And then, of course, the Aquarian, and I think this is the age of Aquarius, or started. Anyway, the Aquarian Gospel. And there is a lot of water references to the whole Bible. Anyway, Jesus was red-haired with blue eyes. People find it hard to believe because the people in the Middle East are dark hair, dark skin. That was because of the migration from the other countries on down. But if you remember, all the way back in the Old Testament, King David was red hair. They called him Ruddy, Ruddy, Ruddy. He was red hair, red face. Anyway, so really, and they said most of the scenes back there were, and in fact, John the Baptist, she mentions in here, John the Baptist, his cousin, was very red hair, like very bright red hair. So anyway, just think about it, because didn't you always think it's odd that King David had, red hair, which blue eyes probably, red hair. Now my older sister has brown hair, but she married someone with blonde hair, and guess what? Their children and grandchildren have the reddest hair you can imagine. So it's not impossible for someone with dark hair. But anyway, it seems like the majority of people in the Essenes were red-haired, blue-eyed, which is interesting and where did King David come from? Bethlehem. Hello. You see how kind of like if you know the scriptures, you know the Bible, whether, there's whatever. But you can start to put things together like, wait a minute, King David was from Bethlehem and he had red hair. Interesting. Anyway, then there's the missing years of Jesus. And it is funny because I've always heard that Jesus went to India for a while, studied there. Now, the people in India say that Jesus was there and he studied there. And he probably did. Anyway, she talks about actually Joseph of Arimathea. Remember him, the rich man in the Gospels, the one that gave up the tomb for Jesus, and the one that asked Pontius Pilate for the body, along with Nicodemus. Remember, they're going to go anoint the body with 100 pounds of spices. They're going to go anoint him again. Anyway, so Joseph of Arimathea keeps coming up, and he's a wealthy man, right? Well, in these missing years, Mary and Joseph, that's her husband. I think it's her husband. And the husband is he is a very, very rich. Joseph. Mary and Joseph. Joseph was very rich, and I don't know if Joseph was Jesus' dad or his uncle or who he was, but anyway, he was a dealer in tin, Tin. And so he was going somewhere on trips and getting tin and shipping it back and selling it. And as we see in the Middle East there in Israel, what is that? It's the port of the whole world. The whole world goes through that Mediterranean there and just comes into that port of Joppa. I mean, that's, like I said, that's a gold mine right there, because everybody, no matter what direction you come from in the world, all sifts through that little Israel point, which I think is what makes it so valuable. Anyway, and that's probably why they were fighting. I don't know. But anyway, so Joseph got rich off of this tin importing, and so he'd go on these trips, and he started bringing Jesus on the trips because Jesus was special and very intelligent and all this other stuff. So, and like it says in the Gospels that Jesus would study and he would amaze the teachers. Well, that's kind of what they were saying too. Anyway, that's really interesting. The missing years. So check that out. Joseph of Arimathea. Here it is. All right, this whole thing, it's so that missing years is his childhood and his early adulthood. Because in the Gospels, I mean, according to all four Gospels, including Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, including the first one, Jesus comes in the picture at 30 years old. Well, where has he been, right? He's gonna just do this at 30 years old. Well, anyway, so there's missing years, right? Then we have the Gospel of Thomas and all these other things. And I'm telling you what, the Gospel of Thomas makes Jesus sound like a little psychopath. And almost like Tabitha on Bewitched. You know how she was using her magic for bad stuff? But way worse than Tabitha. Anyway, he would get mad at people, make them die, and then bring them back to life. Anyway, he was kind of kind of naughty. Anyway, so I don't know if they get into the Gospel of Thomas or not. But anyway, there's way more information about that, his early years, than the Gospel of Thomas say. There's other writings about his early years, so it's not just like the Gospel of Thomas. But interesting enough, she gets into the Druids in England. Now get this, remember who the Druids were. They're also the ones that were kind of made into be witches or whatever. And but anyway, she says that Jesus spent time with the Druids. And what Jesus was doing was traveling along with Joseph of Arimathea with his business, his tin business, or he would go overseas in different countries. So Jesus would come along with, and not just to tag along, but to do his work. Anyway, it goes over the Druids of England, how he spent time with them. And the interesting thing there too is that Apostle Paul, Saul, spent time with the Druids also. Which is why I think it was why he shaved his head for the ritual. Remember, they said he made a vow and shaved his head. That was not a Nazarene vow. Not at all. It was from the Druids. You know how the Druids, in fact, they, like the monks, you see the monks where they just put a bowl of the head and they shave it, and then they just have a ring of hair around their head. You always see them in their brown robes. And they just have a ring of hair around their head like a halo. Anyway, that's the Druids. Anyway, and they had the hidden knowledge too. They had hidden knowledge. So Joseph of Arimathea was bringing Jesus around. Jesus was learning the hidden knowledge. along with the Druids. And then this is interesting too, the first church, and it's not what you think. Anyway, so that was part 1, and I'm going to go into part 2. I'll summarize part 2. I've listened to both more than once. Joseph and Mary were Essenes. Do you see the transcript on that? All right, so then we're going to go to Jesus and the Essenes part 2, Dolores Cannon. Oh, I gotta let my dogs in. He's at the window barking at me. All right. Thank you for reminding me. Come on, boys. Come on, Bosco. Come on. He came to the window and barked at me. All right. Oh, wait a second. Sorry, guys. Were you done? Yeah, they're done. I think. I think. No, wait, that's not it. Originally aired on December 30th, 2005. So just, let's see, where did I want that? All right. So here is the part 2 of her. If you watch her video. Oh, I'm going to put the link to this one too. So this is part 2. I think it's definitely worth listening to. I usually have these things running when I'm doing chores or whatever. Paste. Alright, and so there's part 2. The first one I put in was part 1. Oops. There it goes. I'm sure we are on multiple lists, regardless of how we identify ourselves. Yeah. Yeah, we are, but being listed at Homeland Security as a terrorist is this very special list that I don't want to be ever on. Because I don't even think they can fly. I don't know if you go on an airplane. But I don't ever want to be on a government list for terrorist. But yeah, they are according to the Strong's Concordance, Harry also means he-goat or satire. Harry? As in hair? Well, I don't even think that they specifically said his hair. They just said he was ruddy. So he was red. So if you called somebody red, hey, here comes Red. Hey, Red, how you doing? You'd assume, well, he's probably got red hair or maybe a red face or something. But the Bible does call him ruddy. So, and he's from Bethlehem. Think of that. Not that Jesus was born in Bethlehem. They don't even know where he was born, but because Bethlehem isn't even the real Bethlehem. Bethlehem was more up to the north side of the real Bethlehem. The original one was more on the north side of the Dead Sea. Yes, as in hair. Sorry, listen. Oh, no problem. Yeah, so he had red hair. So, and I always thought, well, that's weird to be in the Middle East and a redhead in the Middle East. And like I said, in fact, not my grandchildren, my sister's grandchildren, my nephew's children, their hair is even more. His child is even more red hair than the first generation. So that's a strong gene. And so it was the people that migrated into that area that turned them all brown hair and brown skin. Or maybe somewhere they migrated to. In or out, in or out. Grand Central Station, come on. Alright, so let me get back over here and we'll go through part 2. So part 2, the missing years. Key moments. The missing years. So in 41, still talking about the missing years, Joseph of Arimathea. Interesting. The legend of Joseph of Arimathea. I think that's where his wealth and everything. And then Mary Magdalene. That was interesting too. At the end here, at the 48-minute mark. Yeah, this is, you can see that's one of the most replayed. But anyway, they talk about Mary Magdalene, who she really was. I really can't even remember. I'm so tired. So anyway, talks about Mary Magdalene. So anyway, that is the 2 parts of Jesus and the Essenes. She wrote the book, literally wrote the book on it. That's interesting. So. Anyway. Yeah. I think that this time that I think the universe, or whatever you want to call it, God is given the okay, or whatever, that this knowledge is going to be getting out. I don't think people are going to be burned at the stake anymore. Now, there's people that had regressed into past lives who said that in their past life, they tried to get this knowledge out. And they were burned at the stake. Now, there's actually a lot of people who claim that it's really interesting, the past. Oh, you know what? On my feed, you know how they always give you shorts? I love the shorts of the, they've been remastering these old films from like 1894, 1901, these really old videos, and I keep getting them on my feed. So I subscribe to that channel. I just love those. I wonder if I could play those sometime. But those are really interesting. But anyway, so I get this, I get other ones, just random stuff. But I saw a guy, and I get a lot of those, like, I don't know, things like the car going out of control, or like that RV going out of control, or somebody robbing a bank, or not robbing a bank, but robbing a store, and just weird videos like that. But I got a video, I think yesterday, the day before, and it was a, what do they call it, a short. I get a lot of those shorts recommended, and some I subscribe to, some I don't. But anyway, but I got a short yesterday, the day before, and it was a guy who he did a it was a $5,000 slot machine. One pull for $5,000. And he put in 5 credits, which was $25,000. And the video was only like 36 seconds. And he hit it once, nothing. It was 25,000. It was 5,000 a pull, and in 5 pulls was 25,000. It was a $5,000 machine at the casino, in the high stakes. So he puts in 25,000. He hits it once for 5,000, nothing. Hits it a second time, nothing. Hits it a third time, it almost hit, but nothing. He goes, God damn it! And the guy's getting really mad. And he hits it again, nothing. And hits it a 5th time, and nothing. He just spent $25,000 and it was about 36 seconds. Anyway, shocking. That was shocking. I always like to read the comments on those. One person said he's probably going through a divorce and saying she's not getting a penny. Somehow he's trying to blow a lot of money. But, yeah, I didn't even know they had... Uh-oh.